astro weather for Saturday, the 7th of October, and we are rolling through from that restless overnight energy that we've had from last night and also from earlier in the night before we roll into Saturday. And this is a half moon in Cancer, bringing in annoyances in restless night of dreaming, emotional work. Okay, so before you even wake up on Saturday, you've done a lot of emotional work. Okay, you might find yourself feeling very exhausted by the time you wake up on Saturday. So let's look at why. We have got the moon in Cancer making some aspects. Okay, so this is going to bring up our emotional needs. This is going to uncover what emotional needs and desires we probably are repressing that are now being projected and showing up in relationships. Okay, and this, we are going to be unsure of them and we are not going to want to deal with them. We want to tuck them behind a hard shell and we don't want to share them with anyone. Okay, at 12:47 a.m. the sun makes an aspect with that moon, so it's going to shine the light on the things that you just tried to push away. Okay, those things that you didn't want to deal with, those emotions that you didn't want to think about, they're going to come up. We're going to think about how that affected the other person and why we don't want to share them, and we're going to be looking very deeply into that. The next aspect at 2:30 a.m. is about finding a way to expand our emotional needs for comfort. So these ideals that we try to push away, the sun comes in, makes an aspect, shines a light on them, and now we need to start looking for ways to find our own emotional comfort through our needs and desires, okay? Then, of course, Lilith rolls on in, 5:19 a.m., makes an aspect with the moon as well. And we have to look at our emotional projection and how we are repressing our emotions in relation to being too critical of others and too critical of ourselves. Then at 6:57 a.m., we've got an aspect with the moon and Saturn in Pisces. And this is our emotional state battling in our deep subconscious, okay? Over the last 7 hours of our deep emotional subconscious work that we have been doing, we are likely to be feeling very cranky at 7 a.m. if we are waking up on Saturday, okay? Because we have been battling ourselves in order to find balance. And then Saturn comes along and he challenges us to see the bigger picture of what we have taught ourselves to think, and where we need to challenge these ideas and how we need to look at our responsibility and our boundaries in relation to how we are being affected by repressing these emotions, by being too critical, by putting ourselves first in order to, I guess, a lot of the time assume people's reactions, okay? Really try and take some time to yourself Saturday morning, spending time in comfort. If you aren't by yourself, making sure you're with someone who does understand you, who is able to give you that unconditional love even when you're in a roller coaster of emotions, and just really let your brain settle around all of the work that you have just done. Like, it is 7 hours of some very deep subconscious planetary movement. So it is that feeling of needing to sleep in on Saturday morning because you will be exhausted from all of this work, all of these feelings that came up, and all of the possible transformations that you made in your sleep. You might wake up feeling exhausted, or you could, if you are someone who's been working on yourself, you might actually wake up feeling in a completely different headspace. Specifically we've had Mercury moving to Libra and also Lilith moving to Virgo during the week. So hopefully that's the energy you get, but really take some time on Saturday, okay? There isn't another aspect until 6:30 p.m. So you've got from 7 o'clock in the morning until 6:30 in the evening to kind of let all of those emotions and all of that stuff settle. I do suggest having a journal. So if you are waking up in the middle of the night, you can jot it down. You can, or when you wake up in the morning, just take some time in bed if you can to write down all of the feelings that have come up overnight, okay? Once we get to Saturday night, I think we get a little gift from the universe. We get some very delicious relationship vibes, okay? The moon in Cancer making an aspect with Mercury and Libra at 6:30. This is being able to express ourselves. This is finally being able to communicate and be able to look at how we communicate and show up and how that affects others. So yeah, take yourself out go out with someone you love, go and do something. You know, the moon is in Cancer, go and watch the sunset by the beach, go and put your feet in the water. That sort of vibe, that's what we're looking at, okay? When we get to 7:20 p.m., we have another very nice aspect, you know, the going out with friends aspect, the being able to change routines, change aesthetics kind of aspects. It's that starting fresh energy after all that transformative emotional work we have just done overnight or over the last couple of days, really. Okay, so this is feminine energy being enhanced. We are happily in our feminine energy being enhanced here, though, so we are feeling intuitive and quite in touch with our emotions. And it's that, you know, with Uranus in Taurus making the sextile with the moon, it's a really good time for a love relationship or a close connection to go out and do something a little bit interesting, something that you may not have done before, okay? And like that idea of like creating an original kind of memory for the people that you're with. Okay, then 8 p.m., you know, it's likely that something's going to come up while you're out with friends or while you're with family that might ask you to compromise luxury and comfort. Okay, so maybe this is you booked at a fancy restaurant, you get there, you can't get in. Okay, or you book something and the person you're taking out doesn't want to do it, or you can't afford the idea that you've just had that you thought was the most brilliant idea ever. So it will be about finding compromise and still being able to enjoy that fantastic energy. And yeah, really maybe have 2 or 3 plans. Have some backup plans on Saturday night so that when things do inevitably need a compromise, you are ready for it.